how to do it.
There she is.
There it is. Yay.
Button to the right.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Housing Real Property Subcommittee. We're going to start the meeting right now. We're going to talk about one bill, and the bill is HB 1285. Where's Matthew? Oh, there he is. This is another local bill, ladies and gentlemen, a local bill. This is a local bill, ladies and gentlemen, relevant to Howard County only because it's a local bill. And what this bill does is they want to charge a fee for rental housing services. And Mr. Mickler, if you can give a little bit of a description on this, and there are no amendments to this bill. Is that correct, Mr. Mickler?
That is correct. There are no amendments. So as noted, the bill establishes additional fees on rental housing licenses issued in Howard County to fund legal and educational services to tenants and landlords. The fees are initially set in the language at $30 for most rental units, and then $15 for middle. Let me just find the exact term. Moderate income housing units or other units for which rental rates are restricted through federal, state, or county agreements to ensure long-term affordability. And those two set rates are for fiscal year 2022. After fiscal year 2022, starting in fiscal year 2023, the standard rate is subject to alteration by resolution of the governing body. And the moderate income housing unit rate would be 50% of whatever that rate set by the governing body would be. So let's say it goes up to 50 for the standard, it would be 25 for the moderate income units. I will note that it says that the rate can be altered, so up, down, however, there's some discretion there. And this would not apply to an owner of the following types of housing: an assisted living unit, a group home unit, a hotel, motel, or bed and breakfast unit, or a continuing care retirement community licensed by the Department of Aging. I think those are the biggest, most salient points, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? And there are no amendments. Delegate Waffle.
Yes, thank you. So the bill stated that this was to fund legal services for tenants who meet income guidelines. So the bill that was just passed today on the floor, doesn't that do the same thing?
Yeah, yes, there was a statewide bill. However, the legal services referenced here, just general legal services, I know there were certain restrictions on the statewide bill in terms of what kind of cases this could be applied to. Also, this would be the county taking its own actions to.
Well, the statewide bill said it was for evictions, and then it was specific to some other things. So
I apologize, I missed some of that. There was vehicle traffic.
I said the statewide bill said it was for evictions, and then it had some other things that were more specific, but evictions is pretty broad, I think. And I'm correct that the vote amongst the Howard County delegation was along party lines?
Let me verify. I should have that in front of me. I apologize. I unfortunately can't do a quick assessment of membership, but it was.
I can tell you the membership. It was not on party lines.
How many
Yes,
for and how many against?
It was an 8-4 vote, and yes, actually, now I'm noticing it was not along party line.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So it's a fee bill, basically.
Yes.
It's enabling, right? Or is it mandatory?
It says it establishes the fees.
So it shows the fees.
Yeah, it would establish the fee, and actually the first year's fee is in the language of the bill. there is authority to change by resolution the fee for fiscal years 2023 and out.
Okay.
And the way licensing works in Howard County, this would be a fee paid once every 2 years. Because I understand it in Howard County, a rental license is a biennial fee.
Yeah.
Is this like your normal rental, or is it like Airbnb and those kind of things? Or is it both, or is it anything? Delegate
Right now, it reads there is a fee on rental housing licenses issued in the county. There are,
Yep.
as I noted, specific groups that are excluded, and those
Right.
would be, assisted
So
living unit.
So this would include both, like your standard rental, somebody rents a place for a period of time, and the Airbnb type of rentals as well, right? I mean, I assume that's Howard County regulates all of that, right?
I don't know if this bill specifies short-term rentals. And short-term rentals is the Airbnb.
I'm going to vote for the bill regardless because of local courtesy.
No, but
I'm
I'm
just curious.
I am curious too now. But I don't think the bill is specific to short-term rentals.
Okay.
Matthew, you see anything?
It
I don't
does not appear to
have
be
Airbnb.
short term. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Delegate
I'm
Trask.
sorry, go ahead. It wouldn't apply to those.
Oh, okay.
Are you talking about like Airbnb and that kind of thing, Ann?
That is
That's
correct.
what exactly, that's
short-term
exactly what I'm
rental, yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Not apply to those. Okay. Fine.
All right. Is there a motion for I'll get to you, Mr. Greenfield, in a minute. Let me get the process rolling. Is there a motion for the bill?
So
Favor.
moved.
A second?
Second.
Discussion on HB 1285 amongst the subcommittee members. Any discussion on this bill with the stakeholders? Mr. Greenfield?
Yes, so thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a number of concerns about this bill. I mean, as you can imagine, first, it should be clear that a landlord, a residential housing provider currently pays $93.50 per unit, $93.50 per unit every 2 years. This bill would effectively increase that $7.50 per year. So you're looking at a considerable jump, again, in the midst of a pandemic when some of our members are dealing with 33% rent delinquencies. And then also just, Mr. Chairman, it's important to note that the House is about to pass this evening, I believe, House Bill 31, which increases a surcharge up to $60, $68 on failure to pay rent filings, which cannot be collected by the resident or by the tenant from the resident until the fourth time that the filer has filed. You've filed, and there's even a loophole in that.
Paid by the landlord.
Right, paid by the landlord
You said
without a
tenant.
Yeah.
without being collected. You are unable to collect it from the resident. Correct. So you're dealing with that. And then on top of that, a second layer here which was already mentioned, is House Bill 18, which is the right to counsel bill, which sets forth its own legal protections for a tenant. And some could argue it is sort of distinct from what House Bill 1285 provides. So it's very confusing. You also have a fairly significant increase in this rental licensing program in Howard County. And then lastly, I would mention the bill does provide for education. And I would just say that or encourage the subcommittee to look at the Office of Consumer Protection in Howard County, which actually provides really great information. And it already exists online in different languages. So I'm not sure what additional education the delegation is seeking or the county is seeking, but it seems like it's well provided currently.
I appreciate that. I see a question from Delegate Lehman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Greenfield, can I trust that you expressed these concerns in the delegation, that you have been heard on this? And did you try to seek any amendments or try to seek consensus, or you just don't like the bill no matter what?
So thank you for asking, Delegate Lehman. We did actually submit written testimony in the delegation. I believe one of my colleagues testified in person against it or virtually at the time. We did, and to the credit of Delegate Terrassa and in particular Delegate Feldmark, they did reach out and we did have a couple of conversations. We explained to them our concerns. We told them, just as I sort of articulated before, that there were statewide bills that were going to charge additional fees and provide a right to counsel. Why not let that go forward? And we just could not agree.
So thank you for your response to that. The fee, to me, I understand your points about these other bills, but the fee, to me is really modest, $15 a year. And then for low income, for units for low income folks, it's going forward 50% of whatever the future increases are in the fee, which is even more reasonable. I just anecdotally, Mr. Chairman, very quickly, I have fielded questions, not just from my own constituents over, as I'm sure many of you have, from friends and family members during COVID about what their rights are as renters, what to do, when they get, notice that they've paid late. There is so much more education needed for renters. I'm not sure the statewide bills, I understand, and I'm very supportive of the right to counsel bill, for example, but I'm not sure that they emphasize as much the education piece that it seems to me this local bill does. I think, every county should have, whether it's done with a new fee or existing resources, an emphasis like this on education for renters about, what their rights and responsibilities are. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm supportive of the bill. Thank you.
Yeah, I think what Mr. Greenfield was saying, though, that it's $15 increase on top of was already being charged. I think that's what he was trying to say. But the Delegate Terrassa.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe the county delegation looked at this and believed this was a minimal increase and that it was needed to provide the services that are called for in this. And just to compare it to HB 18, which is the other bill that talks about legal services. This one has a much broader, this one applies to failure to pay rent. And that one does not apply to failure to pay rent cases, I believe, as modified. I may be wrong, but that's my understanding, is that it only applies to very narrow number of cases, narrow type of cases as it's been modified. In addition, this has different income qualifications than that does. So this is somewhat different, and it also provides an income. It provides a money source for this. So we believe this is going to be helpful in Howard County and necessary.
So, Mr. Chairman, I would just add, the other thing is I'm not sure if, assuming House Bill 1285 passes, as does House Bill 18, which prevails in Howard County? I mean, which program, which legal service program prevails? I don't know. Or do both? And again, to Delegate Lehman's point, there's been a lot of information provided to tenants, through this process. You got additional notices. We're increasing fees to hope that we stem the filings. I mean, there's a number of pieces that are going on, and we would just sort of suggest that this bill be held back to see how these others prevail.
Delegate Terrassa?
Yeah, we've confirmed that these bills are consistent with each other, and I don't think there's any confusion about how they could work together. They're absolutely consistent and work together in terms of, we drafted ours so that they could work consistently with each other. I don't think there's any confusion.
Delegate Lehman, you have your hand up.
No, I should have taken it down, but I would like to move the bill favorable if we're done with the discussion.
There's a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Additional discussion on HB 1285. All in favor of HB 1285, signify by saying aye. The opposition, please raise your hand. Wyval, Ciliberti, where's Parrott? Wyval, Ciliberti,
His empty, his chair's empty.
okay,
His chair is there.
all right. So put down there, Parrott is absent.
I guess Parrot stepped out of the room because he was afraid to vote.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate your time. I am going to try to have another meeting tomorrow, and I might even try to have one on Saturday.
Floor is
All
at
right.
5.
Yes.
Sorry,
Yeah, we're back on the floor at 5 today.
5
Thank
o'clock.
you.
All right, thanks.
See, Melissa, 5. You go